Hey, everybody. Happy last day of 2021. Wow, it's hard to believe that we're moving into a new year, but that is why I'm actually here today. This video is going to be plastered all over my world. So, if you're catching this one on YouTube, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and even hitting the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my content or updates to when I'm on and live for you or posting pre-recorded stuff also. And let's get down to business and talk about the topic of the day for me. But I want to put my spin on it for you, which is approaching a new year or any new milestone or new transitional period with healing peace. Because I'm here as your holistic healing Lyme empowerment coach. But the reason that is who I am and what I'm about is because I believe in healing, yes, and healing as a whole person with lots of facets to how you were created, yes, but also approaching all this from a place of peace, because that is where healing is also found and rooted in. Okay. So hopefully you identify with me in that because I want the best for you too. I want the best for your own healing journey. Let's talk about my new year in healing peace. All right. So, one thing that I do that you may have heard of doing before, and again, let me just say this is what I do, and I'm going to explain why and why I think that this is a good, peaceful healing practice. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. Okay. But maybe this is the year to give it a try. I am one of the word of the year people. Okay. Is that something you've ever done before? Um, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my word of the year approach, but also how I take it one step further in case, again, that speaks to you and inspires you as you approach this new year. All right. So I first challenge you if you're like, nope, not for me, not interested in what she's selling. I'm not selling you anything except peace and empowerment. But also, I challenge you to ask yourself why. If you're really turned off by this idea, why is that? Asking ourselves really good questions about our even our likes and dislikes or our aversions to things is actually a really healing practice. And so, first of all, ask yourself the hard but good questions like, why am I not about this right now? Maybe there's a good answer. Maybe there's an underlying reason that needs healing in your life to move forward with more intentional practice for yourself and more intentionality around your own healing. Okay. Just a side note and a caveat for you. But I think personally the word thing is important to me, and I actually sometimes call it my theme of the year because you'll see why in a second when I explain what I do with my word then. Um I think it's actually really important because it provides kind of like this focused intentionality to your year, which is kind of like your direction or your compass. Okay. It's not dictating everything you do necessarily. It's not like fixing all your problems. It's not some kind of magical thing in that respect. However, it can be kind of magical in the purpose it might give you as you move forward. And actually, it might help you to achieve new levels of healing that you may not have realized were even there to deal with. So, I like to think of healing in layers, right? Non-linear, it's not a straight line forward, non-linear layers, ups and downs, ebbs and flows to our healing journey, okay? Um and the one thing I really want you to remember as you think about this concept with me and think about a word or a theme concept that I'm going to talk about here is that you're not working on like achieving your best self or your next version of you, okay? You're already there. Like you're already your best self whether you've uncovered all those layers yet or not. So you're not working on an achievement here per se, but you are like I mean an achievement of better you, new you. You're you already. You were created in your perfect self already. So you are here to uncover, scrape away those layers to leveling up your best self, to knowing your best self. Okay. So just remember that. It won't be the first time you hear that from me this year. I have had a couple friends actually reminding me of that concept recently, and so I think it's really important to hit that home. If you've never heard that before, this is a good time of year to be hearing about that. We're not reaching for our best selves. That's within you already. Okay. Um, why I think the word thing is kind of important is because when outside factors threaten our healing or our peace, this word or theme of the year concept can actually help keep us dwelling in the right headspace, can help us keep our direction, keep our course, much like a compass would, and can really help us put blinders on to what might not be serving our next healing steps. Okay. So for me, like I said, I do this with a word this year. I'm going to share with you the story of how my word came to be. In the past, I've had words like inspire and redemption and restore. Last year was restoration or restoring. And those words I can see manifesting in a lot of what has happened to me over the course of the year. I've done this obviously for a few years now, but usually the word kind of like comes to me, I guess, like in a variety of different ways. Sometimes at the last second, like the last days of the year, the days ending December. Sometimes it's come to me sooner than that when I've really felt there was a major shift approaching with the new year turning. This year, I didn't have my word figured out, but I knew I wanted one. I wanted the normal theme for myself, the direction that provided. And I was on this business training call and I was actually asking a question about something else, about a project idea, kind of like a idea I had been having about something I wanted to maybe look into in 2022, but I had a lot of questions first to see if it was even right for me at all. And I was talking to the coach uh, publicly, like on a Zoom call with other people around. And I kind of had this moment. Have you ever had this happen to you before? I had this moment of like word vomit where just words came out of my mouth that sounded like that I had thought of them before, or like I had mulled them over at one point in time. I had not. They like literally just came out of nowhere, seemingly. I do think sometimes we say what our soul's deepest desires are, though. Sometimes it comes out before we even realize it. So I said some version of this sentence in the middle of this discussion. It just came out in the middle of nowhere. I just kind of feel like this next year might be a year of creativity for me. And I kind of said it like that, like I was just making a statement. This is just what it is. And I realized after I said it, I was like, oh my word. I'd not actually ever thought of that for my next year. And I don't really like identify with or feel the core of creativity in me right now. What does this mean? But where did that come from? And like I said, asking good questions is really key. And so I started asking myself a lot of questions around just that statement I made. No one else in the group knew that it was like a thing for me. But here's where the word came from. I realized that was my soul literally manifesting my next direction, my course of action for 2022. And it made me it stirred something inside of me, made me a little nervous, a little pukey feeling like, oh my word, this is not what I identified with or thought was going to be where I head. But sometimes that discomfort is actually our sign that we're in the right place. Sometimes it's not. I have learned to listen to my intuition and my body about that, and I had determined after thinking it over for the last week or so that was indeed the word create or creation or creativity. That word create and its variations was meant to be my theme for 2022. So that is dun da da the official theme for Adele in 2022. Words like I mentioned before that have been mine in the past, or I know I have had friends and others that I've heard mention words like healing being their focus for the year, inspiration, um, belief, action being a word of the year. Some people feel like their next step is to take action, right? So, anyway, there's no end to the possibility. It could even be a phrase instead of a word, whatever. You can be as creative as necessary based on what your soul is telling you is next for you. You know, deep inside, even if you don't know mentally yet. Okay, so what I actually do, and I wrote this down so I stay on track for you, to take it one step further, I actually utilize the word along with a Bible verse that usually, at least for me, correlates with the word, even if it might not be obvious to others. And then I also utilize it with an essential oil for the year, like my theme oil, theme verse, and theme word of the year. So it's kind of like this little bundle package of those three things that make up my direction for that year. So for me this year, it's the word create, variations of that. And it's the essential oil blend I decided on, called Awaken. It's been sitting on my shelf, and I thought, I smelled it. It jived with me. I haven't used it a lot, ever. I've just kind of used it only sporadically. And I feel like it applies because I'm looking to awaken my creativity and learn about what that means in my own life, not just my own creativity, but how I am created, my role as a creation. And that ties into my memory verse, my Bible verse. I say memory verse because when I was a child, it was one of my memory verses that I had to memorize for Sunday school or whatever, but I always liked it. And I have come full circle, come right back to this verse. I'm going to read it to you so I don't mistake any part of it. But it is Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." So I am a Christian. I identify with the word of God, as part of that. But also, this becomes kind of like an affirmation for me and like something I can dwell on, that focuses my mindset. So I take care of my mindset through the Bible verse component. I will also probably develop affirmations around creativity too throughout the year. Maybe I'll end up sharing some of that with you as I go. But for now, I'm starting with the Bible verse and then this oil too. I'm going to just take a whiff of it. Sometimes I just smell it right out of the bottle. Oh, I like that. It's really refreshing to me, and uplifting. And then I put a little bit in the palm of my hand. This is how I utilize it. Rub it around and just inhale deeply through my hand diffuser. And I will just do that using the verse, thinking over the word, and meditating on the thought of what creation, creativity, and to create looks like in my life for the next year. So those things are not required, but that is how I take it one step further. And then beyond that, and something I will be talking more about in my holistic healing group, Limey and Crunchy. I hope you're in there. If not, I've got the link for you included. I'm going to talk about how do we take that word or theme for ourselves and really use it to optimize and maximize our actual healing journey by goal setting and utilizing, affirmations and healing mindset work around it. So, some of what I do really quickly, but like I said, I will share more with my group members, as time goes on, and I've shared some already. Is to get it on paper. So, grab a notebook, piece of paper, whatever. I actually recommend grabbing my Free to Heal holistic Lyme healing planner because it's literally designed for this purpose. Take your word, get it down on paper so that you're moving it from the mind to a concrete, um, action. Okay. And then I actually break my goals into categories. So, like personal goals, spiritual goals, healing goals, family, homeschooling, homesteading, like things that are meaningful in our lives. I break them down into categories that apply to me, and then next to each category, I write the word create, like really big. So personal goals, create, spiritual goals, create, healing goals, create. And then I take that word create and I create a sentence, um, that aligns with that theme for me. So, like healing goals, create a, healing presence in my body, or create healing in my cells and my body. And then under that, I start to outline individual goals for the whole year or the quarter or whatever time frame I'm playing around with at that time. So whatever that might look like, continue my Brazilian jiu-jitsu and taking my supplements every day and drinking enough water, whatever I'm going to commit to. I don't just make up random goals. I choose wisely and intentionally based on that theme. Now, does that mean I'm only stuck with the theme of creating? No. No, but it keeps me aligned mentally with like a focused vision so that I'm at peace with what I'm doing and I'm not feeling overwhelmed by any number of things that I could be goal setting or talking about or whatever. It keeps me very focused in so that I'm very intentional about what I choose, if that makes sense. Okay. So remember that this is next step stuff that you can or cannot do. It doesn't matter to me necessarily, except that I'm here to support you if this is something that furthers your healing and is important to you. So, what is your word or theme of the year if this is something that is important to you as well? I would love to hear what you've got going on and how you approach a new year. Okay. You can feel free to share in the comments. You can reach out to me privately. We can chat about this topic. And again, if you want to hear more, make sure that you are in Limey and Crunchy, where you will hear all my coaching, mentoring thoughts for empowering and healing one step at a time, but enjoying it all along the way. All right. Cheers to a new year, my friends. Happy New Year to you.